Hi, I'm Vince, and welcome to the TED Talk. Today we are going to be talking about a topic that is heavily debated since the abolishment of a little thing called slavery: discrimination. Now here's a question. Is there a viable solution for discrimination? For more context, here's Jonathan.
Hi, my name is Jonathan. What if I told you there was a time where African Americans were treated better? You'd probably call me a liar, right? In 1865, the Black Code laws were passed, or also known as the Jim Crow laws. They segregated African Americans from the whites. The laws made African Americans work more, have less pay, and less freedom. There were some people who tried to stop these laws, but there weren't really many white people that wanted to help their cause. And of course, black African American folk couldn't really vote at the time.
Fact is that when the Black Codes were instituted, it was as if the society was split in half. With the new segregation laws put in place, now you have essentially a law that divides people of color and white people. It was as if the entire US had turned a blind eye to the African American population, not even properly regulating court trials, which ended up in false accusations and cases like the Scarborough Boys, which was a similar event in To Kill a Mockingbird, in which black individuals were accused of rape and were falsely convicted. End result was their executions, and one person was sent to lifetime imprisonment. The 1900s had become completely biased, with little room for truth, at least for the African Americans.
Unless you somehow managed to avoid every single history class you were supposed to be taking, you might have heard of an event called the Great Depression. It started from the 1920s to the late 1930s. In case you don't know what the Great Depression is, it was the worst economic crash in the world. Millions of Americans lost their jobs. And I know what you're thinking. What does this have to do with segregation in the 1930s? Shut up! Remember when I said it was harder for African Americans to earn money? Well, now that the Great Depression has happened, it's even harder for them to scrape by and feed their families. Eventually, President Franklin Roosevelt came up with the New Deal programs. They were created to help stop the cause of the economic crash. They did help the African Americans get their job back. Segregation has always been around, but the question is, do we have a solution to it? And that may be up to you. In conclusion, despite all the complications, there may be a solution to discrimination.
Now, the solution I propose is very simple, and that is to be aware of discrimination, because you can't stop it. The entire reason why discrimination exists is because of social stratification. It's the idea that there are high-ranking people and there are low-ranking people, and they are divided between ethnicity and social class. Because there will always be something to divide people, whether it be ethnicity or wealth, discrimination is always bound to happen in whichever way, shape, or form. Again, because we will always have a divide. We have constantly pushed for better efforts to be less discriminate by showing more awareness of the topic and its consequences, though this still has not completely ended discrimination. In conclusion, the solution lies in the hands of the public. Since the problem stems from division, if we can break those boundaries and accept people regardless of class and ethnicity, then we can push forward for a world rid of discrimination. And I'd like to end this TED Talk with a quote from Barack Obama. In the white community, the path to a more perfect union means acknowledging that what ails the African American community does not just exist in the minds of black people, that the legacy of discrimination and the current incidents of discrimination, while less overt than in the past, are real and must be addressed.
Eventually, Franklin. Hi, my name is Jonathan.
Okay, can you say that again? Hi, my name is Vince. Please don't shoot me. Hi, I'm Vince.
Well, think what you want, because there was once a time where black people. What if I were to tell you that before the 1930s, African Americans were treated equally? You would probably think of me as a liar.
Okay, now restart.